Warthog Princess, and welcome to a review and collection of Vera Bradley Glennas. This is a pretty full spectrum of Glenna options offered by Vera Bradley, both retail and factory. But it doesn't include every single pattern or every single piece, but you'll see what I mean in a minute about the spectrum. So let's start right off the bat, and this is not in the order that they came out, but kind of looking at them from small to large on the spectrum. The first one is the Mini Glenna. This is an iconic style with the cinches, so you can actually cinch it all the way down if you wanted, and then slide tabs. I mostly have just left it open. I really haven't used this bag so much yet, but this one is in Holland Garden, and you can see that it is a crossbody bag or shoulder bag. It comes with both straps, and the short strap is not removable. It does not have the quick release. It's fabric and padded actually. It also has a faux leather stripe on it, but it does stay on the bag. But it's a great length, you know, very comfortable. The crossbody strap is removable, and it's very generously sized for sure. So you can take that off just with a quick release there. On the outside of the bag, there's one pocket. It is a magnetic pocket. It's pretty wide, smiley mouth, big slip pocket there. You can also see a little bit of the interior pattern. But that's it for the outside. It's pretty straightforward. Inside, first of all, notice the zipper. It is a flap closure, and it's pretty close to the top of the bag, which is nice. You will not see that later so much. So there's a nice look at the floral interior pattern. You've got a privacy zipper on one side, and you have two slips on the other side. They're just higher up, so two slips. And that's it, pretty straightforward. So that is the Mini Glenna. So I'm gonna put this aside up top for a sec, because we'll come back to it. So from the Mini Glenna, the next one up, this is actually not a Glenna. This is the only one, well, not technically, but anyways, this is the only non-Glenna, but it's so Glenna-like, I had to include it. And I actually don't know the name of this bag. I've had it for a very long time. This one is in African Violet, you know, purples and blues and whatnot. It's about the same shape and size as a Glenna, but it doesn't have any front pocket, no side pockets. It does have a zipper on the back. It is a shoulder bag only, and nice strap there. It does not have any zipper closure at all. It has a magnetic snap. And I put a piece of duct tape on it because it's a very strong magnet, and I didn't want it to pull out the fabric, so it just sort of dumbed down the magnet because I was afraid of that. And then there's two slip pockets there. So this is a much older style. It is still made in China, so it's not vintage Vera, but it's way back to my beginnings anyways. And for those that are interested in the storage pieces, you'll kind of see how I'm grabbing them and folding them, refolding them, so that they can store flat. And yes, that requires a little retraining when you go to fill the bag, but because the bottoms are kind of a rigid or semi-rigid pieces, that allows them to fold up and lay flat. Okay, oops, yeah, that one can go over here. So that's the only like non-Glenna-ish bag. So jumping right in, we just saw this one in the previous video, comparing it to the Lug Scuttle. This is the Glenna, the regular Glenna from the retail side in elderberry. Pocket on the front, pocket on the back, you've got your straps, and here's where you have the recessed zipper. It's like way down here. It is also not a flap closure, so if you're gonna zip it, it comes to a point. You lose a lot of the capacity of the bag because that zipper's like right there. It's way down. Inside, you have three slips on this side, all the way across the back, and you have one zipper privacy pocket on there with a nice moon bloom interior. And that's it. No crossbody strap on this one. Then the next one I have, this one is again the regular old style Glenna, and this one is in ink blue. This one is an older style. You can tell, even though it's not vintage Vera made in the US, but because it has this trim pattern on it, which I quite like actually. So ink blue, same style, shape, and configuration inside and out. There's a look at the interior pattern as well. And one other thing I'll say about the stitching on the microfiber, it's the double diamond. On the retail side it is, outlet's different, but double diamond stitching. And then this one, I don't know, I think you're going to see very well because of the pattern, but it's just regular diamonds, and you can kind of see it like down in here, just regular diamonds. Vera Bradley standard. Again, just storing them flat. This particular one also does not have a nameplate. It very definitely is a true and original Vera, but there you go. This one is in Midnight Paisley. Had to think about that for a second. And this one requires a little bit of story time. It is the old style Glenna. It is the same configuration we've just been talking about. But I bought this on Amazon. And nothing wrong with that. When I bought it, I paid full retail price for it because the picture showed the paisley exterior with the houndstooth interior, which is the retail version with the cotton interior. And so I paid full retail because I was collecting up blacks and whites and I wanted it. And it was worth it, I thought, because I didn't realize that third-party sellers were on Amazon. Now, that may sound stupid, but I know now. And this was several years ago. And what happened was I received this bag, and inside it's a plain black nylon interior, which was surprising to me because I didn't realize at the time yet that the outlets had the same patterns as retail back then, and the interiors were just the solid color. So basically, the bottom line of this story is I got gypped. I paid full retail price for an outlet product that was misleading pictures. So it's false advertising. They advertised the actual retail one and I received the outlet one. Anyways, I didn't want to deal with all the hassle. I sort of just chalked it up to a lesson learned. And I really, really wanted to use this bag that weekend. So I went ahead and sucked it up and just buyer beware. This is what burns people and why I don't like third-party sellers. Why I'm very hesitant on Mercari, Poshmark, eBay, even Amazon now. I mean, you just have to be careful. And if you don't get what you're expecting or what was advertised, send it back, get your money, fight the fight, because it's not okay to be taken advantage of. I mean, you choose for yourself what's acceptable, as I did in this case. But anyways, just sharing a story, so be careful there. All right. That has nothing to do with Glennas. That's just my big lesson on that Glenna. The next one I have here, this is Concerto. Again, it is an older style, so you can see there it has the coordinating trim patterns, but once again, it's the same exact style and configuration as the others. Oh, sorry. Inside of this one is Mini Concerto. There you go, the partner pattern. Back at that time in Vera, in the retail side, when they came out with patterns like that, you would often find bags and accessories in both patterns. You could buy Concerto stuff and you could buy Mini Concerto stuff, and then you could mix and match and coordinate to your heart's content. That was really cool. I kind of miss those days, actually. But anyways, that's not the way it is anymore. This is the Impressionista pattern. So pinks and purples and blues. I just thought it was kind of different. Kind of grew on me. The inside is Impressionista stripe. This also was in that era where you could buy things in that striped purple and pink pattern, which honestly, I mean, it matches, but it's kind of a weird contrast with the stripes and the blobs. But anyways, it is impressionistic art. There you go. But there you go. So that is my last of the regular old style Glennas. So taking a step forward, Vera, not directly from that pattern to the next, but there was a transition where they started calling it the Iconic Glenna. And people ask all the time, what does iconic mean? Well, I think it was just a marketing thing, honestly. But in this case, there was a difference between the Glenna and the Iconic Glenna, and that was the shift to the cinch straps on them. So the Glenna took on a slightly different format, same basic bag, same basic capacity, but a little bit different configuration. So you still have the front pockets on and the back. They are still the same straps, same shape and everything. But the straps have a faux leather stripe on them, as you saw with the Mini. So now we're kind of caught up with ourselves. The Mini came out much later as well, and you can see there's your iconic style matchup there. And, oh, by the way, the size comparison, sorry. So it looks much bigger. than it actually is. I mean, when you load it up, it is actually smaller, but definitely, I would say about 2/3 the size of the regular size Glenna. Okay, so again, you can cinch or not cinch to whatever degree you want. And then inside, the zipper is still recessed, but not quite as far. In this case, it's about 1.5 inches. It's, you know, it's this much from the tip of my finger to my knuckle up here. And it is a flap closure on this one. So we did gain quite a little bit of capacity on the top end of this bag when they switched to this style because of those two factors. It's not pushed down as far in the recessed, and it has a flap so it doesn't have to come to a point to close. So we gained a lot of space. Still same, you have interior pattern on this one, but this is when they first brought back the patterns. Vera for a while was doing solid interiors and nylon. We just didn't like it. We rebelled. So this is, what was this pattern called? This is Bramble. So I think this is like Bramble, I don't know what the interior's name, but it's a nylon interior, even though it's patterned. So it's a patterned nylon. So we've had cotton on cotton with pattern and pattern, and then we've had solid nylon, now we have patterned nylon, and now we've come back around to cotton. So anyways, the evolution of bags. So zipper on the back, and on the front, you have 3 slip pockets across the front, just like the other. So very similar. And then again, this one has just a barely semi-rigid bottom, but I still fold it the same. So I flip that up, and then I just lay the straps down the sides. Okay. The next one I have is Moonlight Garden, and this one is very reminiscent of Midnight Blues, if you're familiar, same coloration and stuff. But the inside of this one is got the fireflies, so it's the blues and teals, which is really pretty, and then you can see those pink and yellow and whatever fireflies in there. So there's that one. And then we have the next size up. So this is the Glenna Satchel, technically, the Iconic Glenna Satchel. And then they also came out with the Glenna Tote, which is clearly much bigger, but the same configuration. You have the cinches, you have the front and back pockets. Because this one is so much bigger, it does have a magnetic hidden magnet in there. Same thing on the back. There you go. But you can see same style, but much, much bigger. It's a tote versus a purse. Yeah. I mean, you could use this as a purse, but it's quite large. Still does not have a crossbody strap at all, but you do have nice, generous straps with the faux leather stripe down the middle. And inside is a little different. So the top, first of all, the zipper is just like the Iconic one, really. It's recessed proportionally down, but it does have a flap closure. And then inside, there's your, this is Vines Floral, by the way. Vines Floral. And then that was the interior. And again, this is a nylon, wipeable nylon. We got a zipper pocket, and on the opposite side, you have your 3 slips, just like the smaller bag. So it's like a giant version, but otherwise the same. And again, that barely semi-rigid bottom in it. Okay. And then here's another one. This one is in Butterfly Flutter. This was one of the breast cancer patterns a couple years back. It's a black base and then this beautiful colors all over it. And definitely a lot of different butterflies. But same style we just saw. The interior is what I call the mothballs. I don't know why. Anyways, pink and white dots with some orange dots mixed in there just for fun. Yeah. So matches or not matches. Coordinates, whatever. Anyways. Okay. So that's the Mini Glenna, the Glenna, the Iconic Glenna, and the satchel versus the tote. Now, let's talk about the larger version of the old Glenna. So far, all we've seen is basically retail side. But let's look back for a moment. We've got the Glenna, the old style Glenna from the retail side. And the factory style now, the outlet version, they have a large Glenna, it's called. So again, you know, if you were to compare, first of all, the Glenna with the large Glenna, you got your same relative sizing. It's not quite as big of a size difference as the Iconics back to back, but there you go. So before we look at this bag in detail, let's also compare the large Glenna with the Glenna tote. And you can see that the Glenna tote is actually bigger. So there you go. Okay, so now let's look at this one. If you've watched any of my hauls, I have a few of these now. I really do like it's a great size because it's small enough to be a purse, actually, quite a large one, but it could be a purse or it could be a work bag, it could be a travel bag. It's just one of those versatile multifunctional sizes it's kind of too small to be a great big travel bag and too big to be a small purse. Anyways, it's an in-between size, but it works great. But this one is in Tropics Tapestry, this beautiful florals. It's blues and whites, but there's actually purples in there as well. And I don't know if you can see that so well, maybe if you look a little close. But it is really pretty. And this is a slightly different style. It's similar, so you have that arched pocket on the front. You have the same type of handles, no crossbody still. But this one has side pockets. And what I was mentioning about if you've been watching these hauls where I've gotten these bags, I keep mentioning that it reminds me a lot of the pleated tote. So hold that thought. We're going to come back to it in just a moment. This one has this curved pocket on the front, but not on the back. Inside, it is a solid color because it is an outlet style, a factory style. So you have a zipper on one side, and you still have 3 slips on the opposite side. Nylon interior. So let's look at this one versus the retail side pleated tote. And I think that you, just as I do, will see the similarities. It's very, very similar. Now, it probably would look more similar if I flip the straps out. There you go. So, there are some differences, obviously. I would say they're pretty much the same size. Yeah, pretty much the same size. But the factory style, which is a much newer, more recent one, has these metal fittings, so the straps lay flat. The older version, this is in lilac medallion, it did not have fittings on the pleated tote, at least not on this version. So you get your wings hanging out until your bag is either loosened up or trained better. So yeah, not my preference for sure. But anyways, it works. You have pockets on the side, same as this one. You do not have that middle pocket on the front or the back of this one. So it's slightly different that way. Inside, your zipper is recessed, same as before. So it's just a little bit down and then you have your flap closure. Inside, this was the period of time where they were doing these solid nylon interiors. You got a zipper on the back and 3 slips on the front, same. So very, very similar bag. And again, for storage on this one, I put the straps inside and flip up that bottom. This one has a rigid bottom, very rigid bottom, in fact. And I don't know, on these ones, it might be removable. Yes, so on some of them, it is removable, but not all of them. Okay, so we've got the pleated tote and the factory style large Glenna. To me, very much the same bag. So going back to the rest of the collection, we have the factory style large Glenna in Haymarket Paisley. That's a fun, colorful pattern. And then we have frosted floral, which is another like blues and blacks and grays. I don't know, it's quite a little more sophisticated look. It kind of has like a purpley blue-gray florals. But large Glenna here. So you have the front pocket, the side pockets, no back pocket still. Same. So that really hasn't changed in the course of those, but those are all pretty recent patterns in the last year or two. Here's another pleated tote, because we've gotten back to that part of the pile. This one is in Kiev Paisley, and Kiev Paisley had Kiev swirls on the insides. This was cotton on cotton before they went to the nylon. So this is older than the lilac medallion. And we've also got the elderberry in the pleated tote, and this one is a factory style, and the reason I can tell that is you have the single diamond stitching. So the other reason I can tell you is because the interior pattern is the polka dot nylon. That was distinctly a factory style interior. Very nice, I quite like it, but those are 2 clues. So looking at a retail style elderberry and a factory style elderberry, you can see the difference in the quilting that I was talking about. On this side, on the Glenna, you have the double diamonds, and on the factory style pleated tote, you had the regular diamond, single diamond stitching. So that is the difference right there between retail and factory. And interestingly enough, let me make sure I'm not making this up. I don't know if the tag has been, of course I've taken the tag off. But of course. So I can't confirm whether this is truly a pleated tote, which I'm pretty sure it is, or perhaps it was an earlier version of the large Glenna without the pockets. I think it's a pleated tote. It's old enough. Yeah, anyways. So that's a question mark. Not perfect on my knowledge, but there you go. So a lot of variety to look at, and definitely a full spectrum of options just within the Glenna line. And there you go. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you. Keep the requests coming, and I will keep cranking out videos. Thanks again. Bye for now. Washi washi.